Hello. So thought I'd make a quick video. Game week 17. I'm not fully decided what I want to do. So I want to have a quick talk about possible moves, where I'm at. I don't think I've decided yet what I'm going to do though. I'll talk about that in a minute. I first wanted to just have a little quick chat about doubles and game weeks, double game weeks again, because I like that kind of stuff. So the news from last night was that Palace did not qualify for the top 8 of the Europa Conference League, which means they're now going to have to play in the playoff rounds in game week 26 and 27. So that means that if either Palace or Man City get to the EFL final and that becomes a blank, it can't be moved forward to 27 anymore. So basically, if you're holding transfers, you're saving your 5 free transfers for like the double and blank season. It's looking a little less likely that we're going to have loads of blanks. Maybe we still might, but it's like it's starting to kind of move. The needle's moving away from that. Because basically, Man City and Palace, it just can't go there now. It can't go in 27. I mean, unless they do what they did here and they make Palace play like 4 games in a week or something crazy. But I don't think they'll do that again. I wouldn't have thought so. There is a spot for Man City and Palace to go to. It'll probably have to go to like 37, or they'll probably just wait. But anyway, so basically, game week 27. If you're saving transfers for this little potential doubles here, the best chance we've got is Arsenal Wolves. Arsenal very likely to finish in the top 8, so that'll be free for them. If they get to the EFL final, Arsenal Wolves will probably go to 27 there. Not necessarily, because they still have three free slots for their 3 blanks. 31 could go to 33, 34 could go to 36, 37 could go to the midweek of 37. But I think they'll be proactive like they did last year and bring it forward, probably. But then the problem with that is that Arsenal, most people have already got double, if not triple Arsenal anyway, so you don't need transfers for that. And I don't think many people are going to want many Wolves. They'll have a double of Crystal Palace away, Arsenal at home. So you don't really need transfers if that was a double. So other than that, the only thing you might need transfers for a double is if Newcastle or Chelsea get to the EFL final and qualify in the top 8 of the Champions League. But at the moment, they're slightly outside the betting for the top 8 to finish in the top 8 of the Champions League. They're kind of 33% kind of chance of finishing in the top 8. They might. Newcastle have got to play PSV and Paris Saint-Germain in their last 2. Chelsea have got to play this team, Paphos, which they'll probably win, but then they've got to play Napoli. So Chelsea maybe. So if one or both of Chelsea reach the top 8 of the Champions League and get to the EFL final, then there's a good chance they'll bring a double forward to 27 there. Again, not necessarily, because I think with Chelsea and Newcastle as well, they're in the same situation where I think Sunderland maybe not. I think. Let me just double check this with Newcastle, Sunderland. They're playing Sunderland there. Sunderland are playing Nottingham Forest here. Yeah, Nottingham Forest. You get these knock-on effects. Nottingham Forest are one of these teams that are in the Europa League, aren't they? So Nottingham Forest, Man United can't go in 37. It would have to go to 36. Which means Sunderland, Nottingham Forest can't go to 36. It would have to go to 33, which means Newcastle, Sunderland can't go to 33. So Newcastle are one that has a bit more pressure to bring it to 27, I think, unless I've worked it out wrong. That's my thinking. So yeah, Newcastle are a team, I think they have a bit of pressure to bring it forward to 27. Whereas Chelsea are like Arsenal, I think, where Everton can just go to 33. Brighton can just go to 36, and the Tottenham one can just go into 37. But I don't know. Maybe the knock-on effect goes further than I realised. But I think whatever that happens, they'll probably bring them forward to 27. But there might not be as much pressure. So with like Palace and Man City and Newcastle, Sunderland, if they don't bring it forward, they'd have to put it in 37, which is a bit more of a gap. This is what happened with Liverpool last season. It's a bit more of a jump. So you're probably more likely to bring it forward. Whereas with Arsenal Wolves, they could just do 31 into 33, 34 into 36, like that. But yeah, they'll still probably bring it forward. So the chances of doubles, though, in 27 are like Because what are the chances of Chelsea and Newcastle getting to the top 8 and the EFL final? It's like 20%, 15%. I don't know. I guess it only takes one of them. If it is Chelsea, they're going to have an insane run because they've got West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, and now it will be a Burnley and Everton away double. So that'll be such an insane run. Everyone's going to have free Palace. I've got no Chelsea. I've got no Chelsea at the moment, so I'm going to definitely want free Chelsea. I'm probably going to want free Chelsea for that run anyway, and to get rid of them. So actually, that's 6 transfers if you want to get them and then get rid of them, because then they go into Arsenal, Aston Villa, Newcastle, blank potentially if that was a blank. So Chelsea, yeah, maybe there's somebody to save transfers for. I haven't fully figured out all my thoughts. I was kind of leaning towards the idea of like maybe it's better to be a bit more aggressive with our transfers now, because we probably won't get the doubles that we think we might here. But I guess there's still pretty good usages for our transfers in other places like Chelsea there. So maybe I'll be sensible. I'll get onto my moves in a minute, but yeah, I've got to figure that out. So yeah, Palace, and I basically think now that Palace and Man City can't go there in 27, I think they'll just wait. And I think they'll wait to see if Palace or Man City, well, they need both of them to get knocked out of the FA Cup or Europe. Which is quite unlikely, isn't it, that both Palace are favourites to win the Conference League, even though they didn't finish in the top 8. I think they're favourites. They were last I checked. And Man City are a good team. They're probably quite odds on to get quite far in the tournament. So you need both of them to get knocked out of either the FA Cup or Europe, so that one of these slots will become free and they can put it in one of these slots. So I think if Palace or Man City get to the EFL final, I think it's going in 37, unless one of these slots appears. And 34, Palace, Liverpool will have to go in 33. And Palace, Brentford would have to go in 36. Something like that. Yeah, I can see that happening, but it's a bit squeaky bum there. Same with Newcastle, Sunderland. They would have to put that in 37. But then Newcastle and Sunderland are more likely. Sunderland's already not in Europe. If they get knocked out of the FA Cup, they got Everton there, Sunderland in the FA Cup, and Newcastle got Bournemouth. So it's more likely that they'll wait. One of those two teams will get. Well, Newcastle could get knocked out of Europe quite easily, and then, or they could get knocked out of the FA Cup. And then in that scenario with the Newcastle Sunderland, if that happens and it happens before round of 16, they might just put it here. I mean, you've still got a couple of weeks to put it here or here. And then it would just stay in 31. It wouldn't be a blank at all then. So that's another kind of, so other than Arsenal, you've got Newcastle and Chelsea you're hoping for doubles, but actually Newcastle, there's a fair chance they wouldn't need to bring it forward anyway. Yeah, I don't know. These are all the thoughts I'm trying to think at the moment, trying to balance up whether to be aggressive with my 5 free transfers or save them. I should probably save them. So let's get on to the moves then. So here's my team. I got 3 free transfers, 1.1 mil in the bank. Team looks fine. I was going to roll. I may roll. Petrovic, Burnley's good. O'Reilly's fine. He's played 3 90s in a week quite a lot this season, I think. So I think he's fine. I'll just show that. This is another spreadsheet I've been messing around with, and I think I looked at him earlier in the season. O'Reilly there, and here's his minutes. And I'm sure he played a few. Once he started playing, he was playing like 90, 90, 86, 75, 82, 90, 90. You can play 3 in a week. This is what Pep said. He's pretty fit. He's had a few rests here and international breaks and stuff. Only played 30 in game week 9, so I guess he had a rest there, I guess. But then 90, 85, 90, 90, 90, 90, 45, 90. That's as far as I looked up. So there's a little bit of doubt about O'Reilly, but I think he's probably going to start. I think I'm willing to roll the dice with him. I think so. Yeah, let's just hope. Virgil, great. Tottenham's attack's not very good. Timber, great. Everton's attack's not very good. Richards is a maybe. I'll come back to him in a minute. So he's like, I'm not sure about him. Anderson, some people are selling him now, but I still feel like he's good. He was an upgrade on Ghana. Gets twice the DEFCON of Ghana, has twice the XGI almost of Ghana. He's just a player. He's a bench player. He's a player I want to bring on when I don't want to play one of my defenders, which in this week is going to be Chow. So I think he's fine. That's his role. That's his purpose. And Chow is I'm going to bench him. Chelsea's obviously pretty good attack. Newcastle's defence is a bit depleted. They've got loads of injuries at the moment. By the way, just Ben Dinnery in this PremierInjuries.com never seems to get enough of a shout out. But he does great work. Like, this is an amazing website where he does he really updates it all the time. Really, really good. Great website. I'll leave the link below actually. So yeah, thank you for Ben Dinnery for doing all this. I don't know whether he's got a team who does it as well, but it's great. It's a really good website. Anyway, Newcastle got Burnout till the new year. Livramento's out. Trippier's out. Kraft's out. Botman's out. Lascelles out till the new year. I thought he was actually due back. That must have just updated or something. Yeah, I thought he was due back, but not until the new year. So he's out. Pope might be back. Lewis Hall might be back. But other than that, they've got a lot of defenders out. So Chow is dodgy, and his DEFCON chances for centre backs, Chelsea are like second bottom, so he probably won't even get DEFCON either. And any DEFCON rate he's got at the moment is probably inflated by the fact that he got like 20 odd DEFCONs or something the other day. I haven't actually looked at this, but I wonder whether he's quite high. There he is there. Yeah, 48%. So he was hovering around 33% for a long time, last I checked, and now he's up to 48%. But that might have been skewed because he got so many DEFCONs in the Sunderland game. Anyway, he's benching him. Bruno's great, second best pick in the game. Foden's fine again. He's like a minutes monster. I think he'll be fine. He did play a few minutes in the EFL, but I'll stick with him. He's Foden and he's double digit every game week. Haaland cap is I don't have triple capped him, but I'm just gonna have to cap him and hope for the best. And Saka's had a week off against Everton. He's fine. He'll play. And then there's Thiago. So my Richards and Thiago are the only ones I'm really looking at, and maybe Xhaka is a position where I could sell. So they're like the players I'm looking at. Thiago, I'm 50-50 about him. So he does have this habit of only playing. He can't play 3 in a week. But earlier in the season, let's have a look at this. So Brentford, he plays. So he played 90 here, 90 game week 2. Played 30 minutes in the EFL Cup against Bournemouth. That was 30 minutes, and then 90 in game week 3. International break, had a rest. Then Chelsea, he played 71 minutes. And then Aston Villa, this EFL game, he didn't play at all. He wasn't even on the bench, I don't think. Some people said he might have had like an injury online. He said he may have had a hamstring injury or something. But Keith Andrews just said it was a rest. Pardon me. He said after that game, we rested a couple of players on Tuesday night for the right reasons. To utilise the squad and make sure they were okay. Yeah, I mean, he might have had a knock. He didn't say he had a knock, though. He said Thiago's had a really good spell, but he had been out for a period of time before that. We just want to make sure we're looking after them. So, he didn't say he had a knock in that game, and he was just fully rested. He just didn't even start. And then he carried on playing kind of like... He started every game, played like 60-something minutes there, then 90s and 90s. I think he played... I think he was on the bench in this game. He's on the bench, but he didn't play any minutes. Then every week, 90. The Arsenal game, 3 in a week here. He played... Did he come off the bench? I think he came off the bench, but he didn't start that one. And then again, this one, 3 in a week. Man City, he's just not even in the team. Not in the squad. And this time, though, Keith Andrews said it was a knock. He specifically said it was a knock, and he's not sure whether he's available for the Wolves game. So... who knows? Like I don't. My sense is that Keith Andrews doesn't lie. Now maybe I've just not seen him lie yet. Maybe he does lie, but maybe all the managers lie. But my sense is that he's telling the truth that he's got a knock, and he's not sure whether he'll be available for Wolves. He might be. He might not. I feel 50-50 about it. And so I could take a risk, but normally when you look at expected points, if somebody's like a 50-50 chance of starting their X-Mins, that means their expected points gets halved. And so, because, you know, your expected points is just a measure of probability of certain events happening in the future. Events being Thiago scoring a goal. But, you know, part of that probability is Thiago actually being on the pitch and playing and stuff. That's all part of the probability calculation. And so if he's only 50-50 chance of even playing, then that event that I want is only, I don't know if I'm thinking straight, but he's only 50% chance of like even starting. That makes his predicted points come right down. And so I could ditch him, because Thiago, I don't think I want him long term. I mean, I really only brought him in for those two, the Leeds and Wolves games. I've got a free hit to play one of these two. And then I don't think he's going to play the Everton game, because if he's going to keep missing these 3 in a weeks, Brentford here, he's got like, there's Man City game there, then Wolves. As we come here, he'll probably play the Bournemouth game. He's got a good break for the Tottenham, but then these ones he can have a rest against Sheffield United, I guess that is there. But these 3 here, it makes sense for him to have a rest against Everton there, or at least one of them. So he might be a sell for me. I mean, unless I just bench him there. But yeah, I could keep him, but I don't. Yeah, I'm thinking I don't mind selling him, and I could buy Semenyo, is what I'm thinking, and I could do a little structure rejig, and I could do Thiago down to another dead spot. I could do Thiago down to another dead spot, which I was thinking Krupi at the moment, but I'm not sure, because it will block me from getting Senesi later on. It might do, and then I can do Xhaka up to Semenyo. So Xhaka up to Semenyo, that's something I can do. The problem with that is I've got 2 dead spots in my team. Now, so far in the season, I've never gone more than 1 bench deep. So it's a risk, especially over the Christmas period. But it's a risk I might be willing to take. And I mean, especially over the Christmas period, even if players get rotated, they quite often come on anyway. Like Timber and Saka missed that game the other day, but they still came on and got minutes, and Saka even scored anyway. So when we're talking about rotation, I don't know. I suppose I might be able to predict if one of my players I might get a clue that one of my players is going to get rotated, and then if I had a better bench spot, I could bring them in. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I love having 2 dead spots, especially over the Christmas period. It's a risk, and the risk is I'm basically ditching one of my forward spots for a 4th midfielder. So I'll be playing like 5-4-1. Does that 5-4-1? Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, 5-4-1 is the formation I'll be playing. Which I guess, what am I talking about here? Yeah, no, 5-4-1, and then I can never play 3 at the back. I can only play 5 or 4 at the back. So I might have to go forward and just see if there's any game weeks where I've got 2 bad defenders. So I don't know, and it's only for 1 game week to bring in Semenyo. It all feels a bit reckless, doesn't it? All feels a little bit reckless. But I don't love Thiago. I could go for it. I don't think I'm as bullish of his chances of starting as other people are. It feels 50-50 to me. And who else could I go to though? I don't think I can get up to Ekitike. I don't know. Or I could just bench him. Yeah, I don't know. So I've got to figure that one out. There are some other moves I was looking at. One was Tavernier. I can do Xhaka to Tavernier or Minteh. I've gone off the idea of Tavernier though now, because it looks like the last couple of games he's been playing deeper. Like, I don't know whether it's as a DM or a deeper midfielder. And I think he even kept Scott on the bench or something. I think they had like Adams, and I was expecting Scott to play, but they actually played Tavernier in a deeper role rather than Scott. So it might be a tactical thing. I don't know. Even though his XGI is pretty good. I think he might be playing deeper, and he's also not absolutely guaranteed to start because they've got in the front four you've got Krupi or Evanilson up front. Semenyo is definitely starting, and then of the other two spots, you've got Cliver, Brooks, Adley, and Jimenez, I think, and Tavernier. 5 players for 2 spots. He usually starts, but not absolutely guaranteed. And Iriola does rotate a lot and trial different combinations out. So I've gone off Tavernier. I could still do Minteh. Minteh basically locks me into a free hit 18 though, but I don't hate that. So Minteh, if I look at game week 17 to 20 with a free hit in 18, Minteh is slow computers there. So he's quite high up. He's like a 0.4 guy, 0.45 guy, something like that, which is basically the same as Semenyo. But Semenyo's got more XG than XA, and Minteh's more XA. So he's not a massively exciting pick. But basically, 17 to 20, you'd have Sunderland, West Ham, Burnley, and then I'd free hit an 18, free hit, avoid the Arsenal game. And Sunderland have got a load of players off to AFCON, so they might be shaky. And West Ham, Burnley are obviously good fixtures, so it would be nice to have a piece of that. I don't know that much about Minteh. I was excited about him at the start of the season. Sounds like he's gone a bit quiet. He's only had 1 goal all season, 7 assists but 1 goal. So don't love that. Semenyo's had 7 goals. That is a bit nicer, isn't it? So yeah, I'm not massively excited about Minteh, but it's nice to get those fixtures: the Sunderland, West Ham, Burnley. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the options I could do though. And the free hit 18, I'm not going to free hit 17, but so I've got a free hit 18 or 19. I originally liked 19 partly because I can just wait just in case we get some surprise news, Haaland's out or something, and I can just free hit an 18 or something like that. But I like the Man United versus Wolves games and Newcastle versus Burnley. Liverpool Leeds is okay as well too. But the Man United Wolves game, the only really player I really want for that is probably Cunha. And I may as well just buy Cunha. I don't have to just get him for a free hit because he's got Wolves, Leeds and then Burnley as a trio. So it'd probably be quite nice to bring in, which is another reason to maybe get Semenyo now and switch to 1 up front. So I've got some money in that 4th midfielder, because then I can get Cunha in without having to sell Saka, Foden or Bruno. So what was I looking at? So yeah, so there's Cunha there. I could just bring him in. Newcastle as well. I've got Chow. If I just bench him here, free hit an 18, then I've got Chow for this run, which is like Burnley, Leeds and Wolves. Crystal Palace tricky, but Chow's not bad. I mean, I don't love Newcastle's defence at the moment, but they still might be able to get one. I don't mind that too much. I don't know whether I'd want to get any other Newcastle attackers in anyway, but it's a little piece of that Newcastle at least. The good thing about 18 though as well is game week 18 Liverpool versus Wolves is probably better than Liverpool versus Leeds, and if I feel like there's slightly more chance that Ekitike will be able to predict who's going to start that game, because Ekitike, Gakpo might still be out, and where are we here? 18 Liverpool. They've got the Tottenham game 17 and then a whole week. Actually, we won't get press conferences, will we? What's the deal with the press conferences? We've got Christmas on Thursday, Boxing Day on this Friday. So are we going to get press conferences Christmas Eve on the Tuesday there? So maybe that's an argument not to free hit 18. Possibly. But then that just puts me off Minteh, not necessarily Semenyo, because Semenyo I can still play him against Brentford here if I have to, and then free hit 19 if I change my mind. We probably will get press conferences here on the Monday, I should have thought. It's a bit of a distance from Leeds, but I don't know. So yeah, anyway, I'm not totally against free hitting an 18 rather than 19, and I'm also thinking every time I look at a free hit, it's almost always suboptimal in terms of, like, I've got all these points predictions, all this model, but when I actually pick my free hit, I'm probably going to take a bunch of punts. I'm probably going to take some punts that are actually quite low down on this list, but because it's like, it's your free hit, you've got to have some fun kind of thing. And I'm a bit wary of that impulse inside me to do that. And I'm starting to think maybe I should be sensible, and maybe on a free hit, maybe I should only take 3 or 4 changes, make 3 or 4 changes, not go too crazy with it, and just stick with the best players. I don't know. It depends on my mood at the time. But that's what I'm thinking. So yeah. So 18. I've only got Virgil van Dijk. So it might be good to just get a couple of Liverpool in or something like that. Maybe Everton Burnley. That's rubbish, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway. So yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing. There's the team. Yeah. Richards, Thiago, Xhaka. Richards, if I got Semenyo in, he'd be a dead spot. So Xhaka would be Semenyo, so I'd still be playing Richards. Whereas if I kept Thiago and I brought Minteh in or something like that, Minteh, I could actually bench Richards for Minteh, but don't think I love that. I feel like I wouldn't mind the Richards one against Leeds. It's Saturday night. At Leeds, which always feels a bit scary, and Leeds' attack has actually been pretty good. Why has that changed? Oh yeah, I pressed it here. So Leeds have been the 6th best attack over the last 6 game weeks, and that's despite playing. There's their XG in each one of those games, and that's despite playing Aston Villa, Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool in that run. So they've been doing all right. For the season, XG wise, I think they're mid, kind of average. Yeah, so 20 goals, so actually 20 goals is not that much, so maybe they're not converting it that much, but it's alright. Good XG though. So Palace's defence is obviously still good, and they've had a rest. Most of their first team didn't play in that Cups game, so they probably had a pretty decent rest for most of their first team. But yeah, I'm just a bit nervous about that one. So if I could bench Richards, it would be nice. But then it means selling. I mean, I could just play Xhaka, but Xhaka's been falling down my model recently. I think his DEFCON rate is reducing. Don't even know where he is. Xhaka gets quite low. DEFCON rate is still 44%. It's not bad. Against Brighton though, only 3.5 points. It's just not very low XGI in the last 6. So he's not really getting the chances he was at all. And Brighton, I think, are kind of average for giving up DEFCONs. Brighton for the DMs. Brighton. Slow computers. Yeah, average. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe sell Xhaka for somebody. I mean, I think it's Semenyo, isn't it? Semenyo's the one that is like the big one that would be nice to have. And it's whether I just be boring. Very often in FPL, just being boring and doing nothing is the right thing to do. It seems to kind of pay off a lot. But if Thiago doesn't start and Semenyo smashes it, I mean, that's really... If I just forget about Richards and just say, right, I'm just going to play Richards, forget about him, don't worry about it, hope for the best, then Thiago versus Semenyo is really... And it's kind of changing my structure so that I can potentially get Cunha later as well. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. But that's the state of my brain. I haven't quite decided yet. I think that's all I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about the fixture crush, but it's tricky to figure out. I mean, you've got to kind of figure it out player by player. But this is how it's going to look over Christmas. Yeah, I mean, Thiago's probably going to miss that Everton game there, I should think. There's a couple of... Wherever you see reds, especially 2 reds, then you've got, Fulham, if you've got any Fulham players, Leeds, maybe Liverpool. Probably not. Who's this team? Man City. Man City in those 3 games. There could be some rotation against Chelsea, but probably not. Maybe one of these 2 games. I don't know. That's the way it looks, so... I think I will stop talking. So, yeah, haven't decided yet. I'll probably figure it out tomorrow morning, but we'll see. Okay, good luck. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.